phase. FPX on the blue side, banning away the Kaisa, the Wukong, and the Jax. As we get Ultra Prime on that red side, banning away the Jace, the Maokai, and the Xin Zhao. So no Xin Zhao ever present for these two junglers. We'll see what's left up on the table. Those are kind of auto win conditions, and that's checkbox number 1. Yone.
I actually think that Sejuani steal here for Junhao is going to be really important, right? You can give that to Shadow, but then you give over Sejuani and probably another melee top laner. So immediately looking at what Junhao wants to pair with this, and maybe even preempting that as well. Like, this would be a great answer to a potential Sejuani that they're going for. So recognizing that, okay, we've got a couple of picks that we think you're going to go for, and having an answer in their own.
Ultra Prime have thrown all the meta to the wayside tonight. The Zed mid, we had the Akali come back, that's a little bit more meta, but now just opening it up when you have these powerful combos for FPX, just saying, nah, we're good. We're going with the Lilia Renekton combo, and you have to expect FPX are just going to pick this Sejuani up.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Sejuani gambit, right? Like, they take the Yone super early. Ultra Prime have pre-counterpicked the Sejuani with this Lilia and taken away one of the best pairings in the top lane with it in the Renekton. They've basically said, if you want this Sejuani, it will be in the worst conditions that you can think of, because we have an answer in the jungle and we're denying the top lane pairing that you want, and FPX still take it.
And they still go for it. They got the Kennen alongside it as well, so a lot of team fight potential there between the 3 that they've gotten already. The Leona is the last pickup for Ultra Prime in that first phase, so taking some long distance setup and CC chaining.
Okay, so, and again, this is an engage tool still being picked up for Xiaoxia. I think that for the most part, both of our supports have done a pretty darn good job at trying to protect and peel their team, and sometimes as well extending that into engagements. In particular, Leona versus Kennen, really, really good pick, because if you see him coming in, you just walk up, bop, little stun, and then immediately he's just stopped in his tracks. It can be so good to cause so much disruption. I think that Leona versus melees in particular always has a really good time.
Yeah, absolutely. The Ziggs is going to rejoin that ban table yet again. The Renata as well, a little bit of respect over to Jwei, and I think rightfully so. We saw that clip at the beginning of the day with that nice little flash hostile takeover play. See if they continue to focus that supportal matchup here, or if they want to change that focus a little bit.
Ooh, so they could have gone Braum ban there, and that'd be like the 2 takeaway disengage supports. The question now becomes, does Jwei want to sort of sit back and play the Braum style, or does he want to continue being the lethal engager that he has been so far for his team? But, you know, we're looking at the picks that are still available. A fair few of them have been taken off the board. There's still some engage available. Noticeably, the Nautilus is still open for Jwei if he wants to take that pick back down into the bot side. It pairs nicely with the rest of the composition. And versus a Leona as well, it's not really favoured either side. Definitely a world for
there we go. Zed into Yone.
This is different. This is not Zed into Talia, where you have one spell that you have to dodge and you can all of a sudden all in her. Sure. All right, Saber, you go crazy.
I love it that this is where you've gotten to. You've been broken by this man today, as have I.
He's earned the faith. Game number 1 earns the faith, but I'm still not sold. Like, he's going to struggle. It's a lot harder to play versus this comp than it was the last one.
For sure it is. Now the Nautilus lock-in is there. The Draven hover, at least right now, adding maybe a little bit more edge to things here for FPX. They do end up locking it in. It is something that Assume definitely loves to go for. Ultra Prime on the other side. I mean, I think the Jhin is okay. Hate the matchup, though, by the way. The Draven Jhin matchup. But we'll see exactly if that is it. And it's set up for the rest of the team, at least.
Yeah, and it's like you say, set up for the team. It's not an awful answer to the Draven. I think that with the correct placing of your traps and with enough CC as well, it shouldn't be too difficult to layer some deadly flourishes over the top as well. But for the most part, it is about enabling Zhong, Junhao, and Saber. 3 carries on that top side that will be able to handle a Draven quite nicely. And then when you're looking at that late game, right, how are they going to get through the Sejuani? Well, That's a bit of a question mark that they've not quite answered. Maybe we're ignoring Sejuani, leaving her till the end. But looking at the big team fight that they've got as well, right? Sejuani plus a Kennen coming over the top as well. I really like as well the idea that FPX can probably just 5v5 if they wanted to.
It's cool though, because as we've gone through this best of, we've really seen some spectacular singular moments, some individualistic moments from some of the players that we've wanted to highlight. I think the supports have been really integral to map movements and macro decisions, but the undercurrent of this whole series to me has felt like Shadow and Junhao. When Junhao was having that bad performance in game number 1, FPX dominated. Then this one with the vibe being all over the place, that counter gank top, it set the tone. Now in game number 3, trying to see what differentiation this matchup brings with the Sejuani versus the Lilia, and seeing which pop-off stars are going to kind of help tangle into that.
It's the pre-planned counter pick for me, and it was a gambit for Ultra Prime, right? They left the Sejuani dangling, and they said, you take it and we will punish you for it. FPX took it anyway, and now we'll get to see whether or not that punish ends up coming through. I expect to see Junhao try to outpace Shadow in that jungle clear, really start to establish an advantage in the jungle matchup in particular. You can see Jwei might just look for an early flash on this and try to take Junhao's as well.
That would be pretty big. But to get any kind of early advantages whatsoever is the important aspect here. Oh, we're going to get the level 1 kicked off.
Okay, one auto attack apiece.
Let's go.
Massive advantage for FPX. There's no way Ultra Prime can come back from this now.
Might as well just put him into group ascent right now.
Yeah, done. All right, thank you. I'll see you all tomorrow, and that'll do. Assume, though...
Sounds good. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a great night. I do want to focus a little bit more on our supports as well, because I do think that Jwei and Xiaoxia have been... honestly, two of the underlying stars for these two teams. Even in the Alistair game that Xiaoxia wasn't quite able to take the win on, was looking very, very solid in that aspect. So definitely a player who's impressed me on his debut in the LPL, or debut split, I should say, in the LPL. So keeping our eyes on how well this Leona finds those engages, whether or not they're at the right time, and especially versus an aggressive bot lane like this Draven Nautilus. As you can see, Jwei already beelining it for engages.
Xiaoxia has been a really nice addition, at least as of yet. The Dredgeline magic, it continues from the best of 1. Wako, he's going to regret that Jin pick now as well. He's down under 200 health, and Jwei just finds the magnetic Dredgeline.
You can see the biscuits looking to work. Another hook comes through, and it's another couple of autos that takes Xiaoxia now down even further. And we now need to see probably a beeline down to this bot side to protect, because this is the type of bot lane duo that if they die,
all right, they got him. Auto attack, and there you go. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Assume we'll get the cash out. It will be the kill going back over to Xiaoxia, though, on the return.
It's just so worth it, like so unbelievably worth it to do that. To lose 5-6 creeps underneath the turret for Wako is truly devastating. Now Xiaoxia, you might fancy this 1v1, you know.
Okay. Does get the base stop, at least.
That's actually really impactful. Like the wave one melee creep got pulled by Assume hitting under the turret, and then it pulled the entire wave out from underneath the turret. It should have been a full crash of 2 waves that would bounce back into Jwei and Assume, but it didn't actually end up working because one of the melee creeps just targeted the Draven all the way back.
Oh man, that's so crazy. It's the little things in League that make it so nitpicky but so fun. We're gonna take a look back at that.
So this is the initial hook that is curved around at Xiaoxia, and early barrier comes through, cleanses away from the exhaust, and this is Xiaoxia not really having the ability to do anything particularly back. Second hook comes through as well, as picture in picture looks like Zhong's in trouble also. But this is just a dive that is so worthwhile. Look at that, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 minions probably lost under the turret here, 8 in fact. Denying 8 creeps worth of XP, absolutely worth it.
Well,
maybe they're going to do the same back.
Yeah, maybe a little rebuttal here by Ultra Prime's bot lane, but unfortunately it is a Nautilus Draven. I feel like that's a little bit more dicey to deal with.
I'm going to say there's a bit more damage coming from the Draven than a Jin.
So
maybe.
I think something just happened, because Jiang used TP, but he did not TP to the top lane. I don't know what just happened. His summoner spell was like grayed out for a second when he was in the base, and then now it is just gone. So I don't know what just happened, but Sheer got the TP back to the lane, so that feels good, and he's up CS.
We'll put the detectives on it. Twitch chat detectives, get on it.
I'm really curious.
What happened to Zhang's TP?
Well, it's not enough for a pause or anything, so maybe I'm just crazy. But I do want to check on the junglers here, and because you were highlighting the supports, their connection is important to Shadow and Junhao. We're going to actually play on bot side 2v2 yet again. Not going to lead out to too much, just Xiaoxia losing a little bit of health. But objectives are going to start spawning here. About a minute for the grubs. Already the dragon spawning. Junglers going to be pathing kind of opposite sides.
Yeah, and we touched on this in the pre-game as well, and you highlighted it a little bit earlier on, that these games have felt like whichever jungler gets underway dictates how this game is played and who ends up coming away with the win. So keeping our eyes on who it is that's finding that advantage and who it is that's making those moves nice and early could very well dictate how the game gets played out. For the time being, it's FPX with complete control over bot lane, complete control over mid lane, that are able to move in, find that first dragon, which usually we would see responded to with grubs, but that is not going to be the case.
Not at all. It's really good timing from FPX, and they also had that pressure top lane because of that whatever just happened. So they have full kind of map spread right now, which feels really good. They're getting pushed in bot lane now as well because of that lack of pressure for going for the dragon. Now also maybe a little bit of response was coming through or thought of coming through from Ultra Prime. They weren't able to get anything, but they're going to be coming up towards top for this grub spawn.
And I wonder as well if off of the reset, it's going to be a full commit into that top side. You can already see Xiaoxia and Jwei making their way into the mid lane. But what about our AD carries? Are they going to make the journey up as well to abandon their bot lane home? Looks like Assume is making that happen, but Wako, with his tier 2 boots rush of plated steel caps, is feeling mighty useless in a 1v2 or in any sort of skirmish that he might try to find.
Looks like he might still try to move out there, but yeah, I mean, this is just going to be 100% neutral objective control so far from FPX, and kind of given by Ultra Prime in that case. A little bit of extra walking from Assume, but he should make it back down towards bot.
So Assume actually missed out on quite a lot here. It was really interesting what happened. Because they didn't see anybody committing to the grubs on the top side, they assumed that they were invading in on bot lane. They had no vision on the bot side of the jungle. So Assume actually spent a good minute sort of walking between mid lane to that bot lane and scared to step foot into his jungle. Really just cognizant of where people could be. Ultra Prime were nowhere nearby, but it actually ended up costing him quite significantly, as that wave under the turret was going to be fully caught up by Wako, and yes, that 300 gold's there, but in terms of a gold lead for a Draven versus Jin lane, honestly, despite Wako getting killed really early under the turret, he's probably quite happy with where he's at. Honestly,
yeah, why not? I do want to take a little bit of a check-in on the rest of the map, though. I think Sheer is getting a little bit out in front of Xiang. I think that could be
just slightly
a troubling issue for Ultra Prime. We are getting the movement of FPX's bot lane up towards this top side. Even though grubs aren't going to be for a while, they're doing this preemptively.
Yeah, I think they're doing this to attempt to dive on this crashed wave. So Sheer will step up, clear this wave as best as possible. And then, with no vision, they're just going to look to try and dive Xiang here.
They just get the slicing veil. So Xiang is already out of turret. Oh, Jwei gets the CC lockdown. But here comes Junhao. He does have the lilting lullaby. Assume just takes half his health from one tower shot. And Xiang gets the wave. So that dive did not go according to plan for FPX.
No, and you know, if that hook hits, maybe it would have done. But just about able to stave off any form of dive underneath that turret. Nobody's catching anything bot lane right now. So Wako is just getting free time alone on this Jin to start to get back into the game.
Statements I never, would think of important statements as a Jin getting back in the game, but with the way he's been played in the meta recently, it is important. TP coming in from Ultra Prime. Glacial Prison had already been thrown, though. Shadow getting a little bit low here, taking turret shots, but he tanks it beautifully. Jwei also gets his, and now it is Sheer that gets the kill. They're going back under. They want seconds. They want the extras, and that's going to be a cash in from Assume.
It is a beautiful juggle of the turret. Sheer takes the re-engage, takes the aggro once again on that top side dive. Make sure that the kill goes over to Assume, who cashes in on those second set of stacks. And all of a sudden, TPing down to this bot side, let me guess, it's going to be the Cannon to catch a wave so that very minimal amounts are missed underneath the turret. Clinical from FPX, they get the kills. It comes at a cost. The Jhin is starting to come back, but you'll probably take this every day of the week. Get a replay of how it started off. It's an exhaust onto Sheer. And again, just a heal from Zhang. Keeps it nice and close underneath that turret. But one fadeaway Shuriken catches it. Sheer tanks it, walks himself out to safety, knows that he can drop aggro as and when he needs to. Picture perfect stuff.
Yeah, it's nice to see that level of execution as well from some of these teams where, again, the word of the day that we learned was consistency. And I think getting to see little moments helps in that regard. Maybe not all the way since it hasn't happened too often, but to be able to get dives like that, I think it is a really nice juggle of the hat. Dragon is coming up in 15 seconds. Now, FPX last time around were able to kind of offset the Dragon and the Grubs. Those Grubs are coming in about 20 seconds as well.
So, with those objectives obviously being a pretty big focus, you'd like to think, for FPX, they are in this position where they shouldn't be giving anything up, right? They've got this 2k gold lead, they've got an incredible advantage top lane and a really sizable advantage in that bot side as well. This is now their time to put the foot to the floor, right? Really try to choke out Ultra Prime and make sure that they can't get anything back. And so far as well, it's worth saying that this Lilia pick has been relatively muted, right? Was attempted to counter-pick Shadow and make it so this comp didn't really have anything to do in the early game through this mid game, but currently has got built like Andres and farmed up quite nicely, but is only 100 gold ahead of its counterpart and is not making the impact that it needs to.
I do like the Lilia clear speed as time goes on, but yeah, is it going to matter when you've given up so much control of what happens next to FPX? As the Grubs are coming up, that's what's happening next here. See if FPX can move some of this pressure from mid lane over. Oh, Wako, you're in a lot of trouble. Jins can't move, and the Dredge line not going to go through, but FPX have already struck, and they took down Wako. That'll be the Grubs going over. Grubageddon is near. We got to batten down the hatches.
Quick little pick there, and it again, like you say, results in a fourth consecutive neutral objective going the way of FPX. This choking of Ultra Prime is going exceptionally well. Now Care fancies a 1v1 with Zhang down on the bot side.
Okay, he wants to go for the angle here. Zhang is just getting chunked here. He's going to try to use the slice of dice to get away. Junhao is here. Two-Face Seal going wide, but he might still get the kill. Lilting Lullaby is there. Can he get it? Watch out, Eep Care, as he's burning. Yeah. That Leandries comes up clutch, gets Junhao the kill back.
So a 1-for-1 here, and Junhao finds a little bit of gold into his back pocket. I mean, the Lilia this game can go nuclear. It's got a really good composition of player or champions to try to play against. I think you've got a really good opportunity to bully a Draven, to bully in particular the melees as well. But Junhao has got a lot of emphasis on his own ability. He needs to step into this game and start making a few more proactive plays. That gold lead narrowed just slightly by taking down the One, but finding those plays once every 13 minutes as it has been so far is not good enough.
God, Sheer's getting so massive on this Kennen. Only 2-0, but he's up almost 2,000 gold over Zhang. And any flank, any kind of entrance like that with the Slicing Maelstrom is going to be game-changing. He's already almost on second items as well. We do have first item spikes for everybody, unfortunately, except for Wako.
Yeah, and you know,
Zhang.
The 1200 gold pit stop will do that for you for both of these players. They rushed their defensive boots. And that's kind of the goal that they were hoping for, right, with those slight nerfs to where the boot costs got a little bit more and the power of them, you know, obviously decreases accordingly. But with this move down to the spot side now, is Zhang going to have to sacrifice even more gold, even more time under the turret. But Ultra Prime, they're here, they're ready. Reminiscent of Game 2.
Okay, well, I think he's dead. He's going to be made into boots, and Assume gets the kill as well. So he gets to cash out, and now they're going to look at the turret. FPX, They are executing this one hugely. This is why, like, that game one was such a smashing, and now they're giving us another performance of that.
Yeah, it's just clinical almost at this point, right? Like they zone out the support this time round. So you see Zhao's just making his way down. Junhao was looking for something. There was no teleport from Saber, so they can't, repeat what happened in game number 2. And just making sure that nobody can get in. The second that they look for that dive, the CC is layered really well between Jwei and Shadow, and there's not really a lot for Ultra Prime to do in that instance. I want to highlight as well that for the Kennen and for Xia, this was a player that we came into the day thinking if FPX were going to win out of anywhere, it would come from Xia and from his great play. His laning phase this game has been incredible, and whilst he's not had necessarily the biggest impact, he's been a linchpin and currently is the proponent of the majority of their gold lead. Just because you haven't seen the Kennen 5v5 yet, you can't expect it to be anything other than excellent when it does.
And the beautiful thing about this FPX team, this is one of those teams that only got to play 3 best-of-5s last split and were eliminated early. This is a team that hasn't truly known success since those times of trying to get to playoffs with Milky Way, and even then those did feel lackluster. And you have time now for FPX to make it into Group Ascent, to be up there with the big dogs, and see if they can actually make the difference here.
Tier 2 turret, the focus up on this top side. 4 members of Ultra Prime here. Saber no TP, so if they go for this, they're going it alone.
Oh, they actually just go straight in. This is reminiscent of those dives from before. The turret's finally going down. Assume has targeted that one. Fourth shot goes a little bit wide. Now, slicing bounce from Sheer. He takes one down. He's looking for a couple combos. But it is FPX who maybe just overextended a bit too far. Do get a lot of gold for it, though.
Yeah, it's a 2 for 2, and in that situation, just isolated, you think, okay, Ultra Prime are happy, but they did lose out on that tier 2 turret on the top side. It was only traded for a tier 1 down in the bot lane. But I think for now, plan for FPX was they've committed very heavily into this top side. They need to get to this dragon. Their Drake stacking is going really well right now. Their neutral objective game has been on point, but just a little bit too overzealous from Jwei. I think if this had have landed onto Zhao, it's a completely different looking fight. Much less HP on the Leona, and despite the tankiness, definitely a lot less. The observers hate Care, and that's fine, because he did miss his ulti, but he also got exhausted and slept, and immediately owned.
Immediately owned. I like it. But now we actually have to get set up because we have this dragon on the table. It's finally not an Infernal Soul, by the way. It's a Mountain Soul. But it does Salt Point for FPX. They are just going to try to push out mid lane right now.
And with 6 grubs as well, you can see that just a couple of autos do make a meaningful difference to that turret's HP bar. Mid-wave first, rule number 1 of League of Legends macro. If you hit the mid-wave first, you can then move over to your objectives. Assume here with a Bloodthirster, happy to take this poke from the Zed. And it looks like they're trying to do the best of both worlds. Assume clears out the mid-wave. You can see that down on the minimap there. Shadow helping out Care. They're trying to keep that tempo as high as possible, maximize what they can get away with. Because if they can deny the Herald as well, they'll be in a very good position.
Actually have heavy presence around this Rift Herald right now. And already started up that control ward, showing the engaged potential that FPX are bringing. Saber not spotted out just yet. Has a little bit of an angle, but Saber's been very quiet in this game so far. So has the rest of Ultra Prime. Oh, Xiaoxia has to flash away, gets Fate Sealed, and dies in the middle of the blast cone. Shadow's in the pit. He doesn't get that big Rift Herald, but he's going to get slept here. You get the big curtain call open up, but FPX just know where they want to go. They want to go take the enemy jungle. They want to go take the base as well as they're looking at tier 2 and mid.
And that's exactly the prize they should get. 3 people dead off the back of that Rift Herald fight. FPX coming out swinging in their time to put themselves in Group Ascend. 5-0-5. Assume and Jwei have been on fire. They took this game from level 1 in the palm of their hands, and they are not letting go. A replay, though, of how it all breaks down. Xiaoxia walks up to try to stun Jwei, but looking at the rest of the team, nobody's anywhere nearby. That is just far too far forward. And yes, the Herald is secured by Junhao, but it's just not enough. And Xia, again, just getting
What happened?
a little bit of engaged on.
No!
Care with the instant Q3 on Yone. Immediately, the second he lands, gets knocked up and killed.
He's like, you might have been able to get away with that against WE. You ain't getting away with that here.
Yeah.
He just sits him down, and now 5-0-5 on Assume, a guy that's bounced around so much around the league, and you know, this new FPX presence maybe even just fuel a little bit of the fire that is rekindling that rebirth form, as a charge will come into the top side by Ultra Prime, try to take some of the standing gold, but they're losing yet another tier 2 turret.
Yeah, I mean, this is good to get gold onto Saber, but I really don't like the Zed in this composition. Like, it's so difficult for him to assassinate anybody. Draven's got Bloodthirster, so he's just going to trade autos with you and sustain through your ulti. You've got Yone, again, not necessarily the easiest champion. He can also quite easily dodge out on your shurikens, duel with you. If you ult Sejuani, you're trolling. And Kennan's got a stopwatch, so you know, he's going to have a Zhonya's, excuse me, at some stage. Although I'm saying that, and it's nowhere near his build path, so maybe you just can kill the Kennen, maybe, question mark, but he probably kills you as well. He's got 5 kills.
I'm just looking at some of the gold differentials right now across the table, and it is a wasteland, especially Tiang. I feel like really far behind. I mean, almost 2 full items behind Sheer, who has just been farming up a storm, and also had been pretty quiet in this series so far, especially that Ambessa game. But this Kennen game showing up big. Like, I love it because we were talking about Shadows, Undercurrent, the kind of jungle setup there, the impact of the supports. But it's really these solo laters and Assume specifically as well really showing up in this.
Yeah, exactly. This is a really solid performance. As, okay, he's able to
he's just walking
take a lot of damage. Yeah. And it is absolutely fine. He's even on levels versus Junhao, who's, again, you know...
No way you just start this, right? Okay. 7,000 gold up. I guess it just gives you the Giga Chat essence.
This is the best way to throw if you're FPX, so it's interesting to see how this plays out.
I'm ready for it. I am here for the chaos. Bring it on. I'm the Elmo meme, but it looks like Atacon just gets sweeped up here. Ultra Prime getting engaged on. Sealed Fate on the backline by Care. But look, it's Young. He just gets chunked 100 to 0. Assume might go down, but it might not matter. Saber is still alive, but they are now front to back against Shadow. It's just in a 1v3. He's a tanky Poro. Care's trying to come over, help him. Shadow's not even going to die. And that's a nice little shift there to get away from Jwei, but damage is done. Atacon taken by FPX and the fight.
And in spite of good judgment, FPX still come away with a fight win and the Atacon. That was honestly as close as it's going to get for them. It was very, very nail-biting moments. A lot of low HP bars, a very real possibility that, you know, just with a little bit more gold, there's a very real world where Ultra Prime come away with that win. But I think FPX just knowing that they're a little bit too far ahead to make bad plays at this point. Surprised, honestly, that Wako lived for this long, but he flashes out a 4th shot, or with 4th shot, and gets his way out to safety. Saber also manages to kill Assume. There's a good sleep from Junhao as well. There's lots of really, really good things, like all of the check marks that you're after. Really, you know, they came to fruition.
This refocus was a little tough, but...
Yeah. Like, what are you going to do, right? Saber killed AD carry. That's a win. My AD carry survived their initial engage. That's a win. But at the end of the day, they still got Soul, they still got Atacon, and I mean the game is difficult for Ultra Prime. We never say the game's over, but the game is difficult.
Difficult's a good word.
Yeah,
that is one word for that in the English dictionary. That is a word. Yeah. That Mountain Soul just makes it even so much harder. Like it's so difficult, and it feels bad because it does feel like it's an iteration of Ultra Prime that is their kind of bread and butter. I would say maybe away from the Jhin. Still not a big fan of the Jhin, even if it is trying to tie things together here. But you know, we get the Saber Zed yet again. This pick of the Lilia that was that planned counter pick that you were talking about in the kind of 1-2 on the red side. It's just not working out for them.
No, and I mean, in fairness, right? Like Zhang has been absolutely bullied in this game. It is really struggling, and now Shadow.
Saber just ults on the Shadow, trying to dodge away. from some of the CC. Maybe. Oh! Assume with the snipe with the help of his jungler Shadow. And, yeah, this cash-in just keeps happening. This Draven pick just keeps happening. And it was a confidence pick coming out of FPX on the blue side.
Absolutely, right? They saw Jhin, they saw Leona, they saw Leona, excuse me, and said, yeah, well, I don't care what you're going to play, actually.
Draven.
We'll Draven Nautilus you. What AD carry are you going to pick that can withstand Draven Nautilus? And their answer was Jhin, which has clearly failed. So, Assume very happy with the position that they're going to be in this game now, even without Baron, excuse me, breaking open the base. Tier 3 mid lane, Tier 3 top lane, they're taking the inhibitors as well. Shadow's dashing forward.
Oh, they might find the final engage here. They're looking for it on the Xiaoxia. Xiaoxia's down. Another shutdown going over, or at least a cash out for Assume. Here's the curtain call onto Jwei, getting him about half health. FPX will back off because they realize the Baron is up and available.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to go straight for it or if they just take a reset, let super minions do some work. Honestly, they should just turn for another fight, and that's what they're going to do. Don't face check Ultra Prime. Honestly, don't cross the threshold.
Oh, no, they crossed the threshold, and now they're about to be plunged into the deep dark, and this one, Sheer finds the slicing maelstrom play on a Saber. Saber's down, so is Young. In the mid lane, push they go. TP's available, they can just go for it.
40 seconds on both solo laners, 25 minutes into this game. FPX are looking to be the first of our third place seeds to make it into the Ascend group.
And from Split 1 being knocked out, the last in their group, to finding the Promised Land and finding Group Ascend, keeping themselves away from elimination for Split 3. The fires of the Phoenix are being rekindled by its new blood, and now they're a little bit stop heavy here as they get the last kills there. They get more minions coming in. The Mites are alive, but they can't finish.
Yeah, Assume did some griefing, I'm afraid. He got hit by the bowling ball, took aggro, and then took 7 turret shots. So the Draven wasn't there to do the damage.
Did you
They're going to
count
need
them?
to take... No, 7 may be an overestimate. I think with it being ramped up, then, you know, it would have died. But just don't watch Assume in this fight, and we'll all be happy, and we'll say the game ended. But overall, so Assume gets slept here, takes aggro, QSS's, tries to kill the turret. Yes.
Yep,
It's a good
that
cleanse.
was a play of all time.
It was a good cleanse. Gotta give him that one.
I can't wait to see this team in Group Ascend.
Hey, man. They earned their place, okay?
They
well,
did.
They haven't yet.
But,
they haven't yet.
But honestly, they have a lot of upside to do some damage in Ascend if they do make it there, right? You have to remember, it's double round robin, best of 3s. And this team has shown a propensity to be able to wield meta compositions efficiently.
Yeah, exactly. And now that final bastion of real chance for Ultra Prime. Can they stop the Baron? No.
Jwei's just taking the engage. Sealed fate on the 3 members
God.
with Sheer and the Wako combo. I said they've been steered forward by their new blood, but it's that Prodigy and Sheer, the transfer from JDG with a quadra kill. Go ahead and spread those mighty wings, FPX, and ascend to godhood as they will find Ultra Prime's demise. And they move to that group of 10 legendary orgs to move forward in the LPL split.
A slicing maelstrom that tears limb from limb the hopes of Ultra Prime. Absolutely monstrous. Sheer sets it up and knocks it down. There's a little bit of help with the Yone. There's a little bit of help from the Nautilus. But it was all that Kennen. The entire game was just Sheer dumpstering Young. And then finally we got to see that final fight, that final glorious Kennen ulti that had a wonderful, wonderful outcome.
Man, I know it feels so good for this. Look at Sheer. He's so happy. He's so happy. I know this FPX, like, this team has had a lot of controversy. Obviously bringing in these new faces, but also, like, trying to build off of what that Split 1 represented and some of the catastrophe that was there. But they have showed a lot of strategic viability, but also just scrappiness, man. Like these guys, like in that game 1 versus game 2 contrast was so different, and then just come back in game 3 and smash it down like this. It gives you a little bit of confidence moving forward, because they will be one of those 10 teams in Group Ascend.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to need to have some resilience to them, right? Because let's be honest, Group Ascend is difficult for all the teams in there. It's a tricky group to play in. And FPX probably go in as one of the weaker teams that are going to be in there. And they are going to have to be able to bounce back from a game 1 loss. They're going to need to be able to bounce back from maybe taking a game 1 and then losing a game 2. And if they show that here, that means that they can show it later on as well. And for the Phoenixes, they should be happy that they've found themselves in Group Ascend. That weight, that burden from having such a rough split 1, you move into split 2 where there's an opportunity for you to not even play split 3, and you're thinking, I mean, you know, if split 1's anything to go by, maybe that's going to be us. Not anymore.
Not anymore. Let's go. And for Ultra Prime on the other side of things, they are not done with their run to Group Ascend just yet. They will be knocked down to the bottom half of the bracket and be waiting that challenger from LGD and WE's series tomorrow. Shout out to Kelsey for putting this together on the fly and showing off our bracket. But FPX, they're qualified. They're through. They are in the Ascend group. And now we'll have to await our second group adjoiner.
2 best of 3s tomorrow to decide who is going to join FPX. It's going to be a grueling gauntlet, honestly, right? Like the upside versus downside for that run is night and day. You know, there's a whole discussion about, you know, running a gauntlet in a playoffs bracket where you eliminate yourself, or if you lose, you go home and you don't get to play anymore for that split. But there's a whole different ball game where it's, you know, deciding what you do for this split. Is it, is it best of 3 single round robin, or is it double round robin, best of 5? Or the double or single round robin really is just the big ticket. And you know, you're kind of scary to go from single of 5 teams to double round robin of 9. The difference in games is crazy. Man.
Yeah, and like you think if you were a team that didn't do good like FPX in that last split, you only had those 3 best of 5s, then you come to this split and say you're in the bottom of the dumps. Like, you just can't continue building on these things. But luckily FPX have changed things up and made things work for themselves. They had a pretty handed gold lead here the entire time. You saw that build up in that graph.
Yeah, it was a sequential addition, really. There wasn't really any pitfalls, nothing that particularly struck them as an issue. And this was, you know, the second, honestly, really good dive, because Assume and Jwei had found an advantage already, right? Like, why is my Draven top playing at level 5? What has happened to put us in this position? Well, they've already dumpstered bot lane so hard that they can let the Jhin do what he wants and then move into another dive on this top side.
It was clinical the way they used that 2v2 to kind of propel elsewhere. But not only that, but like having the lead on the top side as well at the same time, it made it so difficult to pressure anywhere for Ultra Prime. And I do feel bad for Ultra Prime. Like, it does not feel like we got a full genuine experience from them in this best of 3. Yes, game 2 looked really good. Their comp was really good, and they executed it very well off the back of some FPX mistakes there. But I think there's a lot of room to grow and to now study the opponent in that other best of 3 and make sure you're prepared for the next.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a tight-ish turnaround, right? Like 24 hours for today's series, right? Wasn't you know, they would have loved 24 hours, but they're able to take a little bit of time, reassess themselves. They need to reset that mental, make sure that they're ready for the best of 3 tomorrow, because they know that whoever they're playing against is going to have that little bit more, not necessarily fatigue, but they're going to have already played potentially 3 games on the day tomorrow, so they are going to have some form of an edge when it comes into that bracket as well.
Indeed, indeed. Now we got to think, who gets the MVP for this one? I think it's a difficult one. I think Assume maybe deserves it, besides this play at the very end.
I think Shia just gets it, to be honest.
Yeah? Okay.
I don't know that he was instrumental, but I think he had enough this alone.
He was instrumental, for sure.
We'll take an MVP for that. That's good.
We'll take an MVP for that slicing
looks pretty chill.
That's fine.
Yeah. And I mean, he like removed the Renekton from the game as well. Like, it's one thing to talk about what impact he had on the game that was palpable and tangible, but what we didn't see is a Renekton ever. Like, Zhong did nothing. And in a game where Sheer had maybe done less, he might have still landed that big slicing Maelstrom, but there may have been a bigger Renekton threat. So I don't know. My vote goes to Sheer. Assume as well had a very good game. Wouldn't be upset with either of those. Take your pick. I'll take Sheer.
Shadow maybe.
Ooh. I would tend toward maybe not. I mean, the Sejuani Gambit paid off. The Sejuani Gambit paid off, right? Like, I was talking big smack about how it was going to be a difficult game.
It's here, 12-0-6. Finally
Nice.
living up to his name since his transfer off of JDG.
Yeah, and this is the sort of thing that we were expecting from him in Split 1, but never quite got to see in Split number 2. It's been a completely different story.
Yeah, it truly has been. Now, that is it for our day. Before we get going, though, we got to give a huge thank you to our Elite Coffee supporter, Aaron Soup. Their pledged financial contribution helps level up the broadcast on a daily basis and give back to the cast and crew who try to bring you this wonderful product on a daily basis. Make sure you subscribe to our coffee, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, and join all the fun that comes with that content. I got to give a massive shout out to Kelsey Moser behind the scenes, who's producing with one of the worst colds I've ever heard. You Roodood, you casted the whole night while you're sick as a dog. Thank you guys so much for putting all your effort and love into LPL. And everyone at home, we'll see you tomorrow for 2 more best of 3s to see who makes it into Group